In this session, we will talk about custom AI course tools and how to stand out in the saturated online course industry and make sure you eliminate copycats. Basically, we will get into the future of online courses and how AI plays a role in this. You can do some really cool stuff to enhance the value of your online course. And I have a special guest here, Jordan Gill. She's great when it comes to this. She's the founder of System Saved Me and co-founder of Micro App Machine. And she basically has an agency that builds these AI powered apps to boost the perceived value of your online courses. I think that's really cool. And I've talked to a lot of peers in the industry about what we can do to make things better. Like my friend John Schumacher had built something for his webinar course that I thought was really cool to help his customers. So I'm sure we get into a lot of this stuff in this session. So with that being said, warm welcome, Jordan.
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Navid. And I'm excited to dive into this because if you are an early adopter of tech or different things, this is going to get you really, really excited. And even if you're someone who's a little bit more gun shy or a little bit more timid when it comes to tech, this still is a really amazing opportunity for you to actually get ahead of the curve. Because again, this is something that we are seeing happening in the industry currently, and it's not going to stop. Like more and more people are coming to us and having different requests as far as building out ways for their course students and clients to be able to get results faster. That's what we all want, is results
Mhm.
faster, not only for ourselves and our
Yeah.
businesses, but also for our students, right?
On this, like we have done for a long time, templates and things like that for students. I think
Yes.
this is just taking things to another level with AI, right? So you can do things a lot faster. That I've always been a big proponent of this for my students, giving them all the fill in the blank copy, everything they might need. Now AI can just do this a lot easier for you. So sure, we're gonna get into that.
Perfect. So, yes, custom AI course tools. We call them micro apps, but we made up that name, so you probably have never heard of it. But the general gist and benefit of creating these custom AI course tools, which I'll show you many examples in a minute, is really how to stand out in a saturated market and to eliminate the copycats. There, you know, we are still in the age of course creation where there are still a ton of opportunities for you to create courses that haven't been created yet. And I do know that a lot of us in the especially B2B space, there's a lot of similar nuanced courses and programs that now we're having to compete with a lot more directly, and people are looking literally at two sales pages or three sales pages at a time and saying which one is the best for me. And I truly believe that this is one of the ways that you're going to be able to really eliminate the competition and eliminate a lot of the back and forth hemming and hawing, because these custom AI course tools are being perceived as done for you elements. Okay. So this is just a welcome. And how I want to explain this is basically like how math has evolved over the years. So I have a 9-year old. I just had to help him with his math the other day, and I felt like so confused. Now they're doing math so wild. But anywho, originally when it came to math, you had to show all your work, right? You had to write it all out manually, do all the calculations, move the one up, carry over, all of that. That was where math started. And then we got into kind of these templates and resources, which Navid, you brought up about making sure that your courses and programs and things have templates, fill in the blanks, different ways and resources that do speed up the process of getting the results, but it still is semi-manual in a sense. And then the lovely calculator came through, right? And a lot of math done now is through the calculator and learning how to use the calculator to get the faster answer. So this is what's happening in the course world as well. And here's how it mirrors what I just said. We started out in courses with just information. It usually was either audio courses or video courses or ebooks, things like that, even DVD sets way, way back. And it was information only. And that was totally fine. And because the course industry was, again, newer, that that fulfilled what people needed. And then people started to really need more support. And so then you see a lot of these templates and resources being built for inside people's communities. There's even template shops now. So this has been probably, I would say, in the last 4 or 5 years, been where the industry has headed in the sense of creating as many templates and resources, whether it's sales page, copy swipe files, or breakdowns, or case studies, or Mad Libs, or workbooks, or playbooks, all the things. And now we're entering again into this new era, which is around micro apps, or again, custom AI course tools. And this is where instead of having one of those, and I love these because I'm a systems nerd, but the Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel sheets where you have all these calculators or planners or different things, and you have to like highlight the sections that you don't want people to touch because they'll break it. We are actually able to create an app version of those spreadsheets, of a lot of the different templates and resources that you have already available in your programs, but doing it with the power of AI behind it, right? And so again, I'm going to show some examples so you can see, but this is truly where things are going. I'm seeing many, many people either creating entirely new offers of just the micro apps, but I'm also seeing people adding them into their current courses and programs to reduce time of their coaches critiquing homework, of again, having the students know personally what they should be working on inside the courses or programs based on their own needs. So there's so many different ways that you can think about micro apps, and here are the main benefits. It really is an embeddable tiny app that places your frameworks over ChatGPT. So you can't see it from a physical nature, right? So with ChatGPT prompts, it literally is just you see the prompt, you copy and paste it, you change a few words, and you send it. Micro apps, all that stuff is happening behind the actual front UI, or what you see, and therefore eliminating people being able to take this and sell it themselves, or again, mess it up, right, quote unquote, or mistype something in the prompt, or again, mess with something in your Google sheet. And there's really 5 things that it can do. It can plan, it can write, it can generate, it can calculate, and it can critique. So literally with the critiquing one, which again, I have an example of, you can reduce the amount of time that your team or your coaches a lot of times are spending reviewing people's homework, giving suggestions, etc. You can actually have AI do that for you, which is wild. So again, main benefits of micro app: can again give recommendations. It has these adaptive assessments, or again, these critiques. Personalized learning. And so again, if somebody comes into your course and they want to know where they should start, yes, you can create some different lanes or sprints for people to look and review. But imagine being able to create an app where people can input about their business, where they're at in the journey, and it spits out exactly the lessons and videos that they need to start with in order to get the most out of your courses and your programs. There's grading involved. There's, again, 24/7 support. So these micro apps can be working for a lot of international students or people who are in different time zones than you. They don't have to wait for the coach to wake up and give them feedback. They literally just get immediate feedback from the micro apps. And again, also it can summarize some data for you. So those are the main benefits of micro apps. And the biggest question is, what makes this different than actually just writing prompts? And the biggest difference is that with prompts, they're very delicate and very easy to steal and sell. I know that I've bought a bunch of different bundles of ChatGPT prompts, and they all start to look the same after a while. And I am someone who's very protective of my own intellectual property. So I think it's so unfortunate that this is a very easy thing to steal and to copy and reproduce and resell. So having prompts is fine, and it's something that again opens you up to some liabilities. And then also with adding things into Chat GPT, depending on how you have your settings set up, it can actually use your intellectual property that you're putting in there and putting it into other people's responses and output. Again, not ideal because that is something that you've worked on and is precious to you. So, prompts are good when it doesn't involve your intellectual property, in my personal opinion. And also, it just is something that if you don't care about people stealing and selling it, then that's all good and well. Then you move into the apps where, again, they can't see the prompt because the prompt is hidden behind the app. And so it becomes a proprietary tool that people can use. And I don't know about y'all, but again, software, people are buying software left and right to be able to manage and do things for them. Apps are perceived and are compared to done for you services versus software, which I think is really fascinating and I love, and actually allows for you to have a higher perceived value and cost to them having access to your apps. So they both have their place and they both have their benefits. And I also just like to line up really the biggest difference depending on how much you want to protect your intellectual property, as well as being able to allow for your clients. It's very like technophobe proof apps are because they're just filling in the blanks. Prompts, there's a lot of layers you have to generate and then tweak and then generate. So it just depends on who your clients are. So again, when to use prompts, information you don't mind being public or it's already public. So podcast show notes, social captions, website copy, prompts are totally fine for that. Where I think apps really elevate things are for frameworks, formulas, course content, anything that's really behind a paywall. So now I'm going to share with you 5 examples and give you some pictures and visuals to what it is that I'm talking about. So this is an example of the planning app, and this is centered around if your clients are looking to get support on how to execute your course or to get a desired end result, then you can create a planner micro app. So you can see here, this is a very simple launch planner where someone could enter their offer name, their pre-launch date, their webinar date, cart open and close dates, and then product benefits. And then it literally will plot out on a calendar what you should be working on when, and can even connect with the videos and resources that you have inside of your course and point them in the right direction. This is major and it's something that you could do in a spreadsheet. And it is very difficult to have hundreds, even thousands of students go through something, have access to a spreadsheet, ignore the big warning symbols next to the cells that say do not touch, and yet somehow people touch them.
Yeah,
So
this is interesting. I love this, by the way,
yeah,
and this is
thank
like
you.
what would be great for. I mean, my students would love something like this. When I ran the Virtual Summit Mastery program, more like having we had like this action plan guide for 90 days or something, the VSM guide.
Yeah.
People would have just
Mhm.
taken this in an app like this, and yeah, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this could be, yeah. I mean, I have all this stuff. People would just plug it in, and they get their full plan. That was a big struggle for some people that actually keep them on
Yeah.
track. So yeah, really good. Yeah, let's continue with
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, so launch planners, we have people building productivity planners, we have people getting into goal setting and things. So again, this is super helpful and high perceived value because whenever you enter into a course, the biggest thing is overwhelm of where to start, what am I supposed to be doing, how long is it going to take me to do, and this really eliminates all of that nervousness for clients and students. The second thing that it can do, like I said, is it can generate. So that is the most common thing that people think of when they think of ChatGPT. But imagine if you have a group of affiliates for an upcoming launch of yours, and you build out this affiliate swipe copy. So instead of sending your affiliates copy that you have written, and I'm sure it's again great and high converting, imagine your affiliates being able to fill out an actual AI app that they can enter in the product that they're planning to affiliate for, their target market, which may again differ a bit from yours, and again give some angles or tone to the copy. And then it can literally generate the copy for them that is going to be closer to and potentially more resonate with their target market. So, this is something I think is cool again, from an affiliate program perspective, but also you can generate headlines, you can generate all of the typical things that you see people using prompts for with ChatGPT. You can also do that inside of a micro app, which is pretty cool. The next one is writing, one of the more common things that people think of when they think of ChatGPT. And this is, again, what allows for your clients to have some guardrails. So, what I mean by guardrails is a lot of times with ChatGPT, things can get really wild. And a lot of times it's because you either have to train it to understand the entire scope before it actually writes what it is you need it to write. And with the micro app, all of the scope is entered behind and within the code, right? So this is the front facing part of the micro app. And what's happening behind it is your framework, your way of doing things. So that way it can train without your clients needing to understand how to train ChatGPT, right? So that's really powerful. You can have email sequences, webinar scripts, all sorts of good stuff that you can have micro apps do on your clients' behalfs. I know writing is one of the biggest pain points for people, and there's so much copy you have to write in your
Yeah.
business. I totally underestimated that at the
Uh,
beginning.
yeah.
And so imagine being able to have access to frameworks and these tools that will do it for you. And for us, micro apps, we usually will get about 70 to 80% there. Nothing is 100% with ChatGPT or AI in general. So I will put that out
Yeah.
there, but I will take 70 to 80%.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Jordan, like what we see a lot is that people are promoting becoming a prompt engineer, and there's a use case for being like good with prompting and stuff like that for sure. I can see
Yeah,
it's powerful, but a lot of
yeah,
people they don't want to master this. Maybe they are
yeah,
beginners, they are coming in, they just want to I just want to create a course. I just want to offer value to my customers. To
exactly.
master ChatGPT can be daunting. I think you should dabble with it. You should maybe get the plus plan. You should be on there, but you should
Totally.
having like a micro app or something useful for your online program or course, I mean, that's a game changer because you can just plug in your system and your customers, they don't need to be so good. And I think we are moving into, I have heard some other guests on summits and videos I've done, they say we are moving into more promptless AI, where you actually
Yes.
don't, because they already have the prompts built in, as you said, to their tool or whatever it's doing. So I
Yes.
spoke to Julia McCoy of Content at Scale. You just plug in some information and it just writes it in Neil Patel's tone or Brian Dean's tone or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't need to think as much about the perfect prompt to get it right.
Yes.
So that's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Promptless AI. Like that languaging for sure. Cause
Yeah, it
yeah,
was John Benson. I think he's trademarking this, but it's like because he's using
as
this
you should.
for yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think he came up with it. But I see a lot of tools like they are using it like this, and that's kind of what you're
Yeah.
saying. You don't use prompts for these kind of apps. You just have some questions or something like that, which is like a
Exactly.
worksheet for people fill in. That's
Exactly.
like very normal. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's keep
They're
going.
used to that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So it's meeting your clients where they are. And a lot of us have non-techie clients and students. So for us to even introduce AI to them in any aspect is already a hill in and of itself. And so
Yeah.
getting into the prompting can, yeah, definitely be a bit daunting. And I think with a lot of I'm in different courses and programs, obviously, myself. And when I'm looking at two different sales pages of, okay, if I'm learning to do an evergreen funnel in both of these, one of them I have to write all the copy. The other one, it has AI generators that will help get me to 70, 80%. Guess which one I'm going with? The one that's doing 70 to 80% of the work for me because I know that is going to hold me back. If I end up being the one writing all the copy, that's time away from my family. That's time away from additional marketing I could be doing. That's time away from a lot of stuff. So your clients are going to start to think about that because our time is valuable and we want to be in our zone of genius as much as possible. And not everyone is a superb copywriter. So this is a huge, huge win for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I just
This
wanted to
next,
share on this, Jordan. I just wanted to share like this is like this is so awesome to just have this time saver and just going into like getting it
yes,
70 to 80% done. That was not possible before. Even with the worksheets and
yes,
templates, people still had to do a lot of manual work with this. Now you can get it done. And yeah, even like big copywriters that are charging a lot of money, even if you pay $50,000 for a sales page, you would still need an editor. Even the best copywriters
Exactly.
say this, nothing is perfect out of the gate, and AI is not
Yep.
going to get you there either. So just accept the fact that you need to do some tweaking, but still you are getting a lot of the work done. So I think that's a
Yeah.
huge win already. So yeah,
Yeah. Exactly. Huge, huge win.
let's keep
The
going.
next
Yeah, go on.
is Calculate. So again, there's different tools already that can create calculators and whatnot for you, and you can embed them on sales pages or courses or things like that. But also, you can do this with ChatGPT at your side, and so it also potentially the benefit of doing a micro app versus a calculator program is that you can add some additional explanation into the calculations based on what the results are. And so this again eliminates the tiptoeing of the Google Sheets versions and people wanting to just touch everything and and then mess with your formulas. This is very technophobe proof. Like you input each of your responses or answers, and then it generates and calculates for you and for your client. So it's really again eliminating all of the sticky fingers that your clients can tend to have. And this last one is critiquing, which again I think is, I don't want to say my favorite, but it kind of is my favorite because as somebody who ran a group program, very large, we had about 600 people in there. We had many, many coaches, and we had a lot of management of timing of the feedback and ensuring that that gets done within the specific time span. But then if you count the weekend, then it can get really crazy really fast. And so I love the fact that micro apps can actually do critiquing or giving feedback as if you were reviewing the document itself. And how this works, or how I've seen this be done, is again, you can enter in a sales page and it's based on maybe a worksheet that you have inside of your program. Technically, you could have a micro app write the sales page for your people. But if you don't have that and you just have a worksheet, say that you have different sections. And so they enter in the sections as they would a worksheet, a normal worksheet, and then they just copy paste it into the micro app. This could actually give it a critique because what we're doing on the back end is we're saying, okay, the header image or the header copy, like, is the headline, more or less than 15 words or whatever your parameters are around these things. So under 15 words, is the word you being used in it? Do you have a subheadline? Is it within this many characters? Does it evoke feeling or emotion? Like it can review a lot of the things that you would review. Does it actually equate to their target market? All of those things can be reviewed. And it can be where you then give a grade for each of the sections, as well as a very, I would say, decently thorough feedback on how they can improve it. So I've actually seen, I think Joel Irway has an AI app within his Power Offers stuff that he uses, and and it's actually a grader. And so it'll rate your power offer and it will say, you know, it's at 80% and here's the things that you can do better with it. And that's exactly what you can do with these micro apps is they can critique sales pages, they can critique your specific way of messaging, they can critique all sorts of things that you have your clients creating within your courses. And again, eliminating as much of what, again, a lot of coaches end up doing is that feedback. And so then coaches really are able to be in their zone of genius, which a lot of times is more in the interactive piece or doing calls or whatnot. And so instead of them being confined to, again, these Loom video feedbacks or whatnot, they get to show up in their excellence, which is, again, more on calls, maybe even having availability for emergency calls, things like that. And I just think that this is a huge opportunity to get back some profit margin and whatnot as well, because again, team expenses are high. So this is this is a big game changer for people who, again, if you have team members or coaches or things like that supporting you in your course, I love this micro app type, and our clients have found it to be really, really useful.
Yeah, this is really useful for people like the one person business that's just booming up like
Yes.
everywhere, right? This is very useful
Yeah.
for them if you just have, because you probably wouldn't have like a VA in the Philippines doing this type of work with your clients and students. That's not
Yeah.
really what it's for, I think. I mean, you could
Yeah.
train them,
Yeah.
but I don't use it for
Yeah.
this. But you can have these apps do a lot of work that you would actually have a physical person do before. Maybe you pay them $2,000 a month, maybe a few
Yep.
$1,000 a month if it's full time for someone in the US or
Yep.
Europe. So that saves a lot of money, and I think that's what where AI is. I mean, where we are moving, we can probably like one person can probably do what like 10 a team of 10 did like a few years ago. That's kind of what we are
Mhm.
like, the content creation with this and
Mhm.
deliver courses to students and stuff like that. So very exciting for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
And last, I will say, again, this is dramatic, but kind of evolve or die. Like this is happening. This is not something that you can really stop. It's not something that, again, will be going away or disappearing. This is something that is truly the next wave of what is going to be happening. We started with DIY, right? The self-study courses, which still are like fine and doing their thing now, right? But you write a course, everyone buys it. A lot of times it was the only one or one of a few. Then we kind of again 4-ish years ago, 3-ish years ago, there was a heavy wave of done with you, which is again, write a course, build tons of templates and resources, and people are able to get faster results because they're actually getting like more human support, but then also those courses and templates. And then now I think the next, again, talking about future of course industry, which I've been in the course industry since 2014. I truly believe that you are going to need to write a course, take your templates and your resources that you've already created, and build the micro apps that, again, can execute customized work for your clients and your students. This is what people are craving. They're craving done for you because we're all exhausted from so many things. And yet the pricing of done for you is so high and out of touch for a lot of people, or again, affects their profit margins too much. So, this is a beautiful way that you can still have a really high level, high touch approach to support that's 24/7. And again, is going to be available across time zones and whatnot. It is, it is really, again, the next I believe, differentiator in the course industry. And so I'm excited about it naturally because obviously I'm in the space, but I think that this is such a cool time to be in the course industry because it allows for way more time freedom than, again, even with DIY courses, you're still going to get support questions in the inbox and et cetera. And this is a way that we're going to be able to clean a lot of that up and allow for people to get back to their lives and still have an impact with their students. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
really excited about.
Awesome. And just to
Yeah.
touch upon a few things we didn't cover in the presentation, I think in terms of what type, I mean, what type of courses would this be for? Would that be for any course, like even low price courses, or would you include this in more premium courses? I mean, could obviously help with reducing customer support for like $150 program as well, or like self study as they probably are for this price point. But what do you recommend in terms of when does it make sense to, because I'm sure it costs to
Yeah.
develop something like this, and obviously with the OpenAI API and all this, you need to pay for certain things. So can you get into that
Yeah.
a little bit here?
Yeah, so we've seen it kind of in a spectrum. So we've actually built out like interactive lead magnets where, again, it's a micro AI app. And instead of somebody getting a guide or a video or something, they actually are getting the micro app itself
Mm-hmm.
to, again, play around with either a calculator or a planner of some sort, that's in kind of a reduced format. And then you can upsell people into your courses and programs that have the full version of the planner or the calculator. So we've seen that done. So even as low as freebies, and that
Okay.
is fine. Then we've seen people do it in courses that are self-study or even memberships. So for example, if you have like a social media membership and you used to have to like write prompts every single day for people or every week or every month, now you could just create a micro app and feed it, the different prompts or suggestions that you would want them to cycle through and literally eliminate again all this work that you had to do to upkeep your social membership, but
Mm,
now it's doing it for you. So we've seen that done in like the real estate space for social media. We've seen it done in the physician space for social media. And again, that allows for you to get time back when it comes
mhm,
to the prompts there. Then we've seen it with obviously the high ticket stuff. So doing some elimination of what the coaches are giving feedback on and allowing for micro apps to do a lot of the feedback and the critiquing and whatnot instead of having to have so many hours from your team. It really again reduces that quite a bit. And one other area that we've done this too is with agencies actually,
mhm,
and where they are wanting to look at how they can also reduce their team of done for you. And so behind the scenes, they have people come to them for their services, but they're now creating these custom AI apps that are being used to reduce the amount of time that the team is taking. And so what I love about the flexibility of these is I've seen a lot of different we're actually building um, right now for a legal firm to actually be able to build contracts for people based
okay.
on their, again, intellectual property, their templates. And so now instead of having to go and buy all of these templates and all the things, it's now a micro app that you can
Mm,
say, hey, I want a client services contract. Here's, my offer. Here's the pricing. Here's all of that stuff. And then it literally just writes the contract for you.
okay.
Pretty wild. So
No,
there's a lot of
awesome.
ways that people are using it, and
For
it's
sure. I
exciting.
mean, what's the? I mean, people might ask if you're watching this, you probably wonder what does
Yeah,
something like this cost? Is it
totally.
complicated? Of course, you offer a service. You can obviously contact Jordan if you're interested to work with her.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's the cost typically? What
Agree.
you see is that very
Yeah.
complicated to do?
No, so essentially the cost, I will say averages about 3,000 per micro app. So I'm
Okay,
gonna say the word average because it really depends on what it is
of
that
course.
you're asking us to build, right? But that's what I'm seeing on the average side. Some of them have been as low as 1,500, I would say, and some have been in the 5 or 6K range.
Okay.
So per micro app. So again, if you have like a sales page grader, that's one micro app, or if you have a calculator, that's one micro app.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say that's generally the range.
Okay, interesting. Because I was thinking I can see this really useful for freebies. I mean, we talked a little bit about
Mhm.
this, like a high perceived
Yeah,
value freebie. Neil Patel has
so
been
high.
awesome with doing these things, right? And but
Yeah.
but he has a lot of money. So what does it cost to run? Let's say you have a lot of opt-ins for something, a lot of users for a micro app that you give away for free. Is that worthwhile typically, or what have you seen? Like, is it worth to do it for, let's say, a freebie, like a really valuable lead magnet?
What we have, if someone comes to us and wants like an interactive lead magnet, what we encourage is that it's very, very close to the sales cycle.
Mm,
So, for example, we have a like bookkeeping agency that we're working with that has a program for other bookkeepers, and we're building out a lead magnet that actually helps to set up the sales call for her.
mm.
So it actually is doing an audit of that particular bookkeeper's agency offers, and then it spits out and says, "Hey, this is the grade that you've gotten because of X, Y, and Z. Hop on a call with so and so, and we'll review it with you and share with you how our program can help you exactly with this part that you're lacking, this part that you're lacking, and this part that you're lacking."
Mm.
So we try to get the lead magnet or get the micro app to be as close to the sales cycle as possible, just because, again,
I guess
uh,
unless you have a lot of money like Neil Patel, you can just do it to just,
right,
burn money sometimes, then it
totally,
makes sense.
totally.
Because
Then it
he
makes
did
sense,
he
and
did
you
you
have a
remember
lot
he
of fun.
did that in the early days with like Uber Suggest. That was crazy
I
server
remember.
cost. I've spoken to him a few times about this, but of course it
I
makes
know.
sense to generate leads for his 100 million plus agency, so works
Yes.
out when you're business savvy. But like starting out, like doing this probably is not the smartest. Like if you have a
Right.
6-figure launch coming up or 7-figure launch,
Yes.
makes sense to do it, I guess. And
Makes
but what
sense.
happens with this afterwards? What do you do when the launch, let's say, is over? Or maybe you have an evergreen funnel. For an evergreen
Mhm.
funnel, I guess would be really cool. But what do you see your clients or people you have seen in the space doing with this?
Yeah. So when it comes to, again, kind of launch or evergreen or depending, we want to figure out as many uses as possible. So the beautiful thing about building these is, again, at least for our agency, there are other people who do this as well.
Yeah.
With our agency, you pay us one time and you have
Mhm.
access to it. It's your intellectual property. We don't
Okay,
duplicate it and sell it on the side, which again, read your contracts about that.
of course.
But it's your intellectual property. We literally don't even store it in our servers anymore. It is
Well,
on
then it's not bad
on
because you're charging me a one-time fee. You're paying
totally.
like, let's say, starting 3 to 6, depending on the how
Yep.
much you do with that. But what about the running because you're making calls to the API, right? So is
Yep.
that expensive or is typically pretty cheap? I've seen it's not
It's
too
very cheap.
expensive. It's very cheap, right? So you can
Yep. Yep.
so you can have like
Which
tons of users for it, and it wouldn't cost you that much to run. Which is, I mean,
exactly.
then it's not bad if you're paying like one time and you have it, and you can just have
Mhm.
this because the perceived value. That's why I'm asking about this. Because people
Totally.
see now everyone they are doing these Notion templates and stuff like that. It's great. Some of them are good, some of them are bad.
Yeah.
What are you seeing happening to this? Because
Mhm.
that is like, you remember the cycle you talked about. I think with the templates, really good. It's valuable, I think. But I do you think
Totally.
that's disappearing to some degree in the future? Do you think these micro apps or people doing more of the higher perceived value stuff will take over just the template part? Because I think also people are giving away a lot of this for free. People are gonna
Mhm.
stop value. At least that's what I can see when everyone is doing these Notion templates or whatnot. So what's your take?
Yeah, I would say that templates and things, again, it's going to start to become the comparison, right? Just like with the self-study when it was just simple videos that you could throw into a course and people would
Mm-hmm.
purchase, then once people had videos plus templates or spreadsheets or Notion templates, now people are like, okay, well, if you don't have a template, if you don't have a copy, sales page that I can like swipe, if you don't have XYZ, then like I'm not going to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's going to now move into, again, if you don't have something that's going to be able to write for me or generate things for me or plan or calculate or those things, then again, it's going to start to get really tough to, and again, it takes time, right? This is not going to happen
Yeah.
overnight tomorrow that everyone all of a sudden is like micro apps or bust.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming into play though, and for those that I've seen doing them, and doing them well, like it's like people are really intrigued by them and are really finding that, again, now that you kind of have experienced the micro app, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, now my expectation has been shifted, and so
Yeah.
therefore, like, there's
Totally. I
an
mean,
expectation.
I'm just asking a lot because I'm interested in this topic a lot because I've been in the course industry
Yeah,
also for a very long time, and
yeah.
we actually bought the domain virtualsummits.ai, so we own this. So I'm just
Oh my
because I haven't
gosh,
done. Yeah, I'm just
brilliant.
thinking. I wanted to my course when I first released it was really in depth, was the best one on the topic, and I think it still
Yeah.
is. I don't think it is something that compares to it exactly, but yeah, we have always
Mhm.
been really good with our templates and stuff like that, especially for our the funnel templates and stuff like that. I think the technology is not there to get the design, like there's certain builders now you can press a button, you get a design. I think that's
Yeah,
not there yet to get it perfect, I
I
think. But
agree.
with a copy and stuff like that from microapp, I think this can be solved very easily. I think any like affiliate copy we talked about, I think this can be solved. I think basically all the mundane tasks for doing a summit could be solved, like the emails to speakers. You can generate different versions depending on if they are like a really high level or whatever. You might customize the emails and you can just use like some questions to get this very perfect. I think that, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm pretty excited about this. That's interesting actually.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's speak out about. It's fun to, again, we have clients and such a range of of industries and ways that they're using it. I just spoke to somebody about licensing
Hmm.
and whatnot. So creating a micro app that then other course creators who, would need this sort of again service done with AI, like she basically, and again, you can duplicate your once we build the app, you can literally duplicate it as many times as you
Hmm.
want. That way you can kind of control
Yeah.
access, but then literally you can have it inserted into somebody else's course or program or whatever,
Mm.
and they pay you, a monthly fee per
Hmm.
person or a annual fee or whatever the case is
Yeah.
to have it inside their courses or programs. So I think we're gonna definitely see that,
That
and that's one of my
That's
more
cool,
favorite
actually.
plays.
Like, yeah, so because we
Um,
talked about this a little bit, like Jon, for example, Jon Schumacher, he's only offering it in his course right now, I think there is,
yeah,
but he could, I mean, since he developed something with for webinars and also the slides with integration with Midjourney, he could probably
yeah,
like sell that. Do you think this would be a value to just maybe name your app and then sell that on the open market just outside your course
I've
as well,
seen
or
that.
would your course be, do you think the course is a prerequisite to having this? Well, do you think that's going in this direction? I don't know if some people are already doing this, so what
Yeah,
have you
some
seen?
people already have like basically an AI generator that is outside of any course or app.
Hmm.
And they basically have like a collection and series of micro apps.
Hmm.
So I've seen Paul Mandosh, he's in
Okay.
Facebook ads.
Uh, what do
But
they
yeah, so
what do they price something like that? Is that like a typically a lower price point and the course might be higher price because they're more premium? Is that what you?
yeah, so his I think is 97 a month. I know
Mm.
that there's another company called Copy Coach, and they had like a I think one time 297 for lifetime, and
Mm.
now they just moved to, again, an access membership of, again, the collection of micro apps that they have, which range from emails to Facebook ad copy to whatever. And they've partnered with different people to create apps based on their frameworks. And then our
Mhm.
affiliates, if people, like this one micro app that has a framework for somebody, then they go on and sign up for the
Yeah.
other people's programs. So that one I think now is priced at 197 a month,
Wow, that's, I
and
mean, that's
whatnot.
still
So,
that's still a good revenue if you have a lot. I'm not sure how many users you might have, but if you, this is still priced like typical SaaS products, like a shopping cart or like a sales funnel software or something like that.
yep,
So I guess for this price point, they need to do quite a lot of stuff. Like, but if you have like an app that doesn't do too much, maybe you can price it like, I don't know,
yeah,
20 to $50 a month or something like this, and that's still
mhm,
valuable to your customers. It depends on the
yep,
perceived value. But
yeah,
you spoke about the licensing part. I didn't even think about that. That's really interesting because some people have done that for courses in the past. Like Jeff Walker, I think he
exactly.
licensed his program to someone in Brazil and making a lot of
Mm,
sales there and getting like
yeah,
royalties and stuff like that. So I think it's an interesting thing to, because it's such a high perceived value with these micro apps that that has a real use case for maybe someone else's audience that they can use this. So that's a good revenue stream, and then it makes it
yeah,
easier to justify the expense. So that's good for someone like
exactly.
yourself.
It is great. Lots
Yeah,
of
yeah,
ROI everywhere, and we definitely share all the ways because I think that,
yeah.
and even with the copy coach people, like they were running ads to their stuff, and so for months, and I was getting chased around the internet because of them. But I saw that the smarter play for them was, yes, you're getting them in at 297 for lifetime originally, but then they have the affiliate back end. So they went to Russell Brunson and Joel Irway and Laura Porty and all these other people and said, "Hey, like we built a micro app literally using your framework. Like, do you want access to it? And can we put it in here and be an affiliate for your offers?"
Mm.
So there's really, again, just unique ways that people are setting this up that I think is really smart and a good way of leveraging relationships and collaborations, which I'm a huge fan
Totally.
of. So it's there's a lot. I
Up,
obviously get to
up.
nerd out in this
Yeah,
land
yeah, me too.
quite a bit.
It's awesome because the opportunities are endless, and when you have an app like this, you can actually, it's easier to get affiliates because the perceived value is higher, stuff like that. You don't need to, I guess, sell it as much if it has a real use case. Like promoting a course, maybe it's more difficult, but if you have an app, they can test it out, they can go in there, and it's
Yes.
actually maybe even helping, a seasoned entrepreneur that you might want as your, top affiliate
Mhm.
partner or something like this. So yeah, really
Yeah.
exciting stuff. So do you have, I mean, we have talked a lot about this now, and I think this is a great way for creators to make extra money or just enhance their online courses, I think. So, do you have
Yes.
any final words if someone wants to get started with this, or any tips for people?
Yeah, I think the two biggest wins for people right off the bat are thinking of a micro app that could support students in one of the bigger areas that they're stuck, because
Mhm.
then when the sales objection comes up and you know that more people are coming into your courses, you now have an exact tool that solves that exact objection. So that's usually the first place that I have people start. And then the second place I have people start is really thinking about that recurring revenue. Because again, the ability to tack on a recurring revenue model is always beneficial, right, in business for cash flow. So if
Mhm.
you have a course and then you want to do, upsell, downsell of access to this tool, right? So again, if you have maybe a launch program and the social media marketing aspect of it you have in a micro app, then you could say, hey, like we have all the templates and resources for you inside the course if you want to just, again, do it with those
Mhm.
resources.
Yeah.
However, if you want us to, again, have the ability to build out your social media posts for your launch with 60 ideas and 40 scripts and whatever else, is helpful, captions, hashtags, like having access to that for $30 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, like that is beneficial for people. And that's truly eliminating. So instead of people going in and trying to have a prompts membership that is just based on whatever the head person of
Uh-huh.
that social media company comes up with that day.
Mhm.
Instead, now you have access to a tool that is taking in consideration the season that it is, or your business specifically, or your offer specifically, versus again, just these kind of generic memberships. Like that's going to be huge. And the ability to really amplify your average client order value. So that
Mhm.
way, again, you're really helping to build out a longer path to cash flow. And again, it's never a bad idea to have additional revenue sources. So I would say those are two things to think about. One, biggest objections in your program or
Mhm.
course. How can you create a micro app around it? And then what could be a potential upsell or downsell recurring revenue option as well?
Yeah, for sure. I need to geek out with you about some stuff off camera because I'm interested to my
Great.
do my own. But Jordan, this has
Yeah.
been fantastic. I'm excited about this, as you can tell. And if you're watching this, you
Yeah.
should be excited too about this opportunity because things are moving at a very rapid pace in the AI world, and now the course industry, which has been a little bit stagnant to a certain degree, but now it's kind of
Mhm.
getting better, and you're gonna get more
Yeah.
results without actually maybe bringing on more team members and stuff like that, which is exciting. So Jordan, where can people connect more with you?
Yeah, so the easiest way, we have a website, microappmachine.ai, and whatnot. So there's some information there and a way for you to hop on a call with me, and we can either do an audit of your course and show you all the ways we could make micro apps, or if you already have ideas for a micro app or two or five, we can just hop on a call and discuss that too. So that everything's pretty much just on our website, microappmachine.ai.
That's awesome. I'll leave some links in the description here as well so you can connect with Jordan, check out what she's offering. Be sure to leave your biggest takeaway. Are you mind blown what you can do with micro apps and how you can enhance your courses? Let me know below. Maybe you have some ideas for your own, how you can improve your online courses, or maybe you are creating your first one and you want to include some AI power with micro apps. And be sure to get in touch with Jordan if you want to do this, and if you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel like this, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Ciao for now.